Welcome to the class, students. Today we are going to discuss Chapter 3, Fiber to Fabric. Let's warm up. Here are some animals given below from whom we get wool. Identify and write their names. So students, I think you all know about it. So what you have to do, you have to identify that animal and write their names. Let's know about natural and man-made fibers, occupational hazards of wool industry, silk. So students, these are the topics we will discuss in our chapter. Let's begin. All of us need clothes to cover our bodies. Clothes protect us from extreme weather conditions and harmful insects and animals. Clothes are stitched from fabrics. There are variety of textures in fabrics, but each type of fabric is prepared by weaving the fibers. So students, आप सबको पता है कि हम different type के fabrics के clothes पहनते हैं और वो fabrics जो है वो हमें different type की fibers से मिलते हैं. Okay? Fibers can be described as fine strands of some material. They are the raw material from which fabric or textile or cloths is prepared. Different fabrics are made from different types of fibers. We wear different types of clothes in different seasons. So students, different type के season में हम different type के कपड़े पहनते हैं और उन कपड़ों का different type का fabric होता है. Okay? Look here, we have some points. During summer, cotton clothes are comfortable. Woolen clothes are worn during winter. Here we have natural and man-made fibers. Fibers are of different types. They have been classified into natural fibers and man-made fibers. So students, fibers जो है वो two types के हैं, natural and man-made. The natural fibers are obtained from natural sources. They can be, look here, fibers of plant origin like cotton and jute, fibers of animals origin like wool and silk. The man-made fibers are synthetic fibers. These fibers are made from petrochemicals. They are rayon, nylon, polyester and acrylic. So students, these are some type of man-made fibers. First we have wool. Wool is prepared from the underhair of those animals which have hairy skin. So students, wool किससे prepare की जाती है? Hairs of the animals of hairy skin. Now we have wool and hair bearing animals. We have new topic, wool and hair bearing animals. Wool is obtained mainly from sheep. Also some breeds of goat like Angora, Kashmiri and Mohair and the York, camel, Angora rabbit, Ilma, alpaca provide wool. Alpaca and llama are bred in South America. Merino sheep gives best quality of wool. So students, these are the different variety and breeds of sheep which give us wool. Okay students, now look here students, here we have an activity, activity 1. Obtain an Indian map showing its state. Mark the state where each of different varieties of sheep is found. Use different colors to represent the location for different wool yielding animals. So student, you can do it. It is very easy and you can ask to your teacher also if you have any doubt. Now we have rearing and breeding of sheep. To obtain good quality of wool fiber, sheep with thick coat of soft underhair are selected for controlled breeding. Sheep are reared in many parts of our country. You can see shepherds carrying herds of sheep for grazing in the countryside. Now let's discuss rearing and breeding of sheep. To obtain good quality of wool fiber, sheep with thick coat of soft underhair are selected for controlled breeding. Sheep are reared in many parts of our country. You can use shepherds. You can see shepherds carrying herd of sheep for grazing in the countryside of Jammu and Kashmir, Himachal Pradesh, Punjab, Haryana, Rajasthan, Gujarat, Arunachal Pradesh and Sikkim. Sheep are fed on grass and leaves but are also given a mixture of corn, pulses, jowar and oil cake. Sheep fed on protein-rich food develop good growth of fine, curly and shiny hair. When sheep develop a thick growth of hair, they are shaved to obtain fleece. तो स्टूडेंट्स क्या होते हैं कि अगर हम बात करें सीप्स की जो रियरिंग है, ब्रीडिंग है, वो इंडिया की बहुत सारे स्टेट्स में की जाती है, जैसे जम्मू कश्मीर, हिमाचल प्रदेश, पंजाब, हरियाणा। और शीप्स को मेनली फीड क्या कराते हैं, प्रोटीन रिच फूड, ताकि वो अच्छे से, ताकि उनकी बॉडी पे अच्छी ग्रोथ हो हेयर्स की, और उसके बाद उनको सेव कर लिया जाता है, शेव किया जाता है। ओके, नाउ लुक हियर, नेम, नाउ लुक हियर एट दिस टेबल स्टूडेंट्स, हियर नेम ऑफ द ब्रीड, quality of the wool, state where these breeds are found. So students, what we have now, we have some name, now we have some breed of sheep and their quality of wool and the state where these breeds are found. Look at the first, Lohi, good quality wool, Rajasthan and Punjab. Then we have Nali, carpet wool, Rajasthan, Haryana and Punjab. Then we have Bakrawal, carpet wool again, Jammu and Kashmir. Marwari, coarse wool, Gujarat. Patanwadi for hosiery, Gujarat. Rampur Paser, brown fleece, Himachal Pradesh and Uttar Pradesh. So students, these are some breeds of sheep. Now come to the next. Here is shearing. Once a sheep develops a thick coat of hair, it has shaved off for getting wool. The process of removing hair from the body of a sheep is called shearing. Shearing can be done manually with a large razor or with a shearing machine. Shearing does not hurt the sheep because the uppermost layer of the skin of the sheep is dead. The shearing sheep is done in the hot weather of summer so that sheep can survive without their protective coat of hair. Look at this picture, shearing of a sheep. सो स्टूडेंट्स, अगर हम शेयरिंग की बात करें, मोस्ट ऑफ द समर सीजन में की जाती है। वाई? ताकि जो आपकी शीप है वो अच्छे से सरवाइव कर सके, क्योंकि जब ठंड होगी, अगर उसकी प्रोटेक्टिव लेयर नहीं होगी तो उसके लिए सरवाइव करना मुश्किल हो जाएगा। हियर वी हैव स्कोरिंग। The sheared hair is washed thoroughly with detergent to remove the impurities such as sand, dirt, grease and dust. This process is called scoring. Nowadays this is done by machines. So students, scoring क्या प्रोसेस है कि जो sheared hair होते हैं उनको वॉश किया जाता है उनसे impurities अलग करने के लिए। Now look at this picture also. Scoring of sheep's hair. Now we have shorting. Since the wool is not uniform in all the parts of fleece of a sheep, some parts of fleece have the wool fibers whereas others have coarse wool fiber. Some parts of fleece have long wool fibers whereas others have short wool fibers. So the fleece of even of the same sheep has wool of different textures. The process of separating the fleece of a sheep into different sections according to the quality and woolen fibers is called shorting. सो स्टूडेंट्स, जो एक ही शीप के जो हेयर्स होते हैं वो अलग अलग टाइप की वूल्स होती है, उनको डिफरेंट टाइप में शॉर्ट आउट करना, अलग करना, दैट इज शॉर्टिंग. नाउ वी हैव रिमूविंग burr. Burrs are soft fluffy fibers in wool similar to those that often appear on the sweaters you wear. These are removed manually. Then we have dyeing. The natural fleece of sheep and goats is white, brown or black. The silvers are dyed to get wool fibers of various colors. Then we have combing. Combing is a method to prepare woolen fibers for spinning the yarn. This is done by using combs of metal teeth. The process of combing straightens the entangled woolen fibers and also remove the small fluffy fibers which may be caught in them. So students, combing किस लिए की जाती है कि फाइबर को स्ट्रेट किया जा सके. Then we have spinning. The long woolen fibers are spun on a spinning machine while roasted yarn can be spun by any machine. Then we have making yarn. After spinning, the wool is either woven or knitted. Longer fibers are knitted into wool for sweaters. The shorter fibers are woven into woolen cloths. Look at this picture, student, first. This is process of obtaining wool. Look at the first step we have shearing, scoring, shorting, carding, dyeing, spinning, weaving, and then we have in the end. So these are the steps which are involved in process of making wool. Get it, students? So you can learn these steps very easily from this picture. Here we have occupational hazards of wool industry. Health hazards. First we have Health hazards associated with wool production. People working in the wool industry have to lift sheep and bend down to hold them during the shearing process. This caused the workers to develop skeletal and muscular injuries. Male sheep called rams have horns. Sometimes they hurt the workers. Sheep also kick the workers sometimes. Some workers also develop respiratory disease such as asthma as they constantly breathe in dust and fine wool fibers. ORF is the viral disease of the skin transmitted to humans owing to the contact with infected sheep and goats. Shearers are at high risk of getting this disease. It causes blisters on the hands, wrists, and sometimes on the face. The chemicals, detergents, and dyes used during processing can lead to other skin allergies. In wool industry, people get infected by a bacterium, Bacillus anthracis, which leads to a fatal disease called Shorter's disease. So students, जो लोग इस इंडस्ट्री में काम करते हैं उन्हें बहुत सारी प्रॉब्लम्स होती हैं, लाइक उन्हें मसल्स और स्केलेटल इंजरी भी हो सकती है, वो उनको रेस्पिरेटरी प्रॉब्लम्स हो जाती हैं, स्किन एलर्जीज हो जाती हैं. सो दीज आर द हजार्ड्स ऑफ दिस इंडस्ट्री. नाउ वी हैव wool production in the world. China is at the top in wool production. It contributes about 20% of the total wool produced in the world. Other major wool producing countries are Australia, New Zealand, United Kingdom, Iran, India, Russia and Argentina. India has 10th rank in wool production. So student, ये कुछ countries हैं जो wool production करती हैं और leading country कौन सी है? China. Here we have silk. Silk is a light and soft but strong cloth having shimmering appearance. The silk fibers are also animal fibers obtained from the cocoons of silk moth or silkworm. The rearing of silk moths for obtaining silk is called sericulture. So students, silk को obtain करने के पूरे process को हम क्या बोलते हैं? Sericulture. और आप सबको पता है silk हमें किससे मिलती है? Silkworm से. Do you know? Silk is the strongest of all natural fibers. It is even stronger than the steel fiber of same thickness. China is the leading silk producing country in the world. Other major silk producing countries are Japan, India and Italy. So students, you have to learn कि silk और wool की leading producing country China है, okay? And then Japan, India and Italy. Here we have sources of silk. The best quality of silk is obtained from the cocoons of silk moth Bombyx mori. Its caterpillar feeds on the leaves of mulberry tree. This variety of silk moth is cultivated in China and mountainous regions of northern India. So student, ये best quality की silk produce करते हैं और ये कहाँ पे मिलती है? China and northern India. Then we have wild silk called tashar is obtained from silk moths that feed on oak leaves. Oak grows wide in India and China. Then we have moga silk is obtained from another wild variety of silk moth found in Brahmaputra Valley. So students, these are the different types of silk we get from different type of cocoons of silkworms. Here we have life cycle of silk moth. The female silk moth lays hundreds of tiny eggs on the mulberry leaves. The larvae that hatch out of the eggs are called caterpillars. Caterpillars feed on mulberry leaves vigorously and grow in size. When a caterpillar is ready to enter the pupal stage, it stops feeding and its salivary glands secrete fiber around the pupa. The fiber is made of protein which hardens on exposure to air and forms a cover around the pupa. This cover around the pupa is called cocoon. Cocoon is ball-shaped and is formed of silk fiber. Further development of silk moth continues inside the cocoons. At the end of pupal stage, silk moth cuts the silken fiber of the cocoon and the young moth flies out. So student, ये लाइफ साइकिल होता है सिल्क वॉर्म का. क्या होता है? फीमेल सिल्क वॉर्म क्या करती है? एग्स प्रोड्यूस करती है. देन वो एग्स क्या बन जाते हैं? आपके लार्वा बनते हैं. देन क्या बनते हैं? कैटरपिलर और लार्वा आर द सेम थिंग्स. देन दे विल form cocoon and then adult moth. So this, look at this picture. This is the life cycle of a silk moth. Okay students, do you know? Caterpillar larva of silk moth feeds and grows for about 5 to 6 weeks. Silkworms take about 1 week to spin the cocoon. Here we have from cocoon to silk. The breeding and management of silk moth for the production of silk involve the following steps. Here we have some steps to get the silk from cocoon. Here we have, look at the first step. The eggs of silk moth are stored on strips of cloth or paper and are sold to silkworm farmers. The eggs are reared in the hygienic conditions at suitable temperature and humidity till the larvae come out. Then we have the silk moth larvae are then fed on mulberry leaves under controlled conditions. Fully grown cocoons are sorted out according to their color, size, shape and texture. The stored cocoons are immersed in boiled water or exposed to steam. This kills the pupa inside the cocoons. Then we have the cocoons are then put through a series of hot and cold immersions. This process is called softening of sericin. The sericin or silk gum is a gummy substance that holds the two strands of fibrin protein of a silk fiber together. Then we have next step. The next step is the process of unwinding silk filaments from the cocoon. This is called reeling the filament. 3 to 10 filaments of cocoon are usually reeled together to produce the fibers of raw silk of desired thickness. This process is called throwing. Then we have silk fibers are spun into silk threads which are used by the weavers to weave the silk cloth. Then weaving of silk is carried out in looms. After weaving, the silk fabric is finished by creasing, proofing, waterproofing, fireproofing, etc. So students, these are the steps involved to get silk from cocoon. So अगर हम बात करें, देखो एक होता है नेचुरल प्रोसेस, लेकिन हम सिल्क फार्मिंग जो कराते हैं दैट इज सेरीकल्चर, वो एक बहुत कंट्रोल्ड मैनर में किया जाता है. Look at this picture student. This is the complete process. You can read this. You can read the steps and learn them. Health hazards associated with silk production. Burns are common as workers continuously work with boiling water. Arthritis of hands and finger is also common as people reel silk into yarn. Exposure to loud noise during weaving and spinning can result in a permanent hearing damage. So students, these are the health hazards with silk reel. Get it students? Now what we learn in this chapter, we will discuss it in a nutshell. Clothing is an important part of our life. Cotton clothes are comfortable during summer. Woolen clothes are worn during winter. Merino sheep gives best quality of wool. The process of removal of hair from the body of sheep is called shearing. The process of washing hair is called scouring. The small fluffy hair is called burns. The anthrax disease is a fatal blood disease and is called shortest disease. The rearing of silk moths for obtaining silk is called sericulture. So students, these are some key points, you have to learn them. Here we have keywords. Scouring, washing of fleece to remove dust and grease. Fleece, the woolly covering of a sheep or goat. Then we have shearing, the process of obtaining hair and turning it into wool fibers. Then trolley, it's completely. Then we have simmering, shining with a soft covering light. Then braiding, the process of bearing or generating. Then cocoon, covering around the pupa. Then sericulture, rearing of silk moths. So students, learn these key points of this chapter. Thank you students. We will meet again in the next chapter with some new concepts.